As I record this is my initial reaction to the last chapter of Berserk, or at least what could be the last chapter that Miura was actually involved in. Um, it was only the leaked version, so there were actually a few more pages, and depending on what context they add to this chapter, I may make a follow-up video. But based on what was shown in this chapter, I think I've seen enough to express what my opinion on it really is. And yeah, this was pretty heart-wrenching to read, seeing everything that's happened so far, that's all been leading up to the revelation that Griffith actually is the Moonlight Boy. And the way you can read into that is actually incredible. It may be the god hand of all cliffhangers, but it will leave us talking about Berserk for years and years to come, I imagine. It implies to me that even though Griffith gave up his humanity to become Femto, that perhaps part of him, the emotional human side to Griffith that is so rarely seen throughout the series, is actually embedded within the Moonlight Boy himself, and that Miura may have been building up into the last arc with this theme of Guts giving up his obsession with revenge, and I imagine that would have become one of the focal points of the next arc. Is Guts still obsessed with revenge, or will he actually let it go to allow his potential son and partner to live in peace? Because obviously I assume it would imply him killing Griffith would actually kill the Moonlight Boy as well, which means obviously killing his own son, and that presents an amazing emotional dilemma for him as a character. And yeah, it is tragic that we may never see that, because this has been one of the greatest stories of all time, in my opinion, conveyed through some of the most breathtaking artwork. And I just want to give props to Studio Gaga, who I assume did the majority of the artwork for this chapter, which was breathtakingly gorgeous. And even though it didn't look exactly like Miura's artwork, it still felt so faithful to Berserk and its style. And I can't wait to read the few pages that I missed out on the leak. There were so many great callbacks in these few pages. The fact that it's been almost I think it's been 2 decades since Guts' last confrontation with Griffith. It almost feels like if this is the last chapter, and if it is going to end on a cliffhanger, that Guts and Griffith and Casca finally being in one last scene together, the original trio, it feels fitting, and I'm happy with it. The fact that we see Griffith shedding tears for the first time in so very long is just one of the most beautiful panels, I think, to date. The implication that there is still some humanity left in one of the most despicable villains of all time. I just think it's really touching, and it highlights just how much depth there is to these wonderful characters, and how much of their feelings and emotions we as readers can intuit just through an image and some beautifully poignant words. Miura really had a way with words throughout this series. The way he described things and conveyed emotions was unparalleled in the realm of anime and manga. It's truly legendary, and such an amazing one to leave on if this is to be the end of Berserk as we know it. For me personally, I would absolutely love to see them continue it, and based upon this chapter and the artwork, I think they're more than capable of doing it. Obviously it will be a heavy burden for them, because this is one of the most iconic, legendary series in all of manga, and one of the most unbelievably fantastic pieces of dark fantasy ever. I do believe they're talented and skilled enough to do it, and to be able to finish it off as a tribute to Miura would be unbelievably beautiful and an amazing testament to his legacy. I massively respect the editorial team's decision to respect Miura's wishes, as in they want to do what he would have wanted rather than what the fans or what the Young Animal team want. They want to do what he wanted for the series. Whether that's for it to be continued or for it to die with him, we simply don't know. And I imagine we won't know for quite a long time now. I think they'll leave it to rest for quite a bit. But to give the fans and the world this last chapter, after the death of one of the most gifted storytellers and awesome artists of our time, that's something really special and should be commended. And the whole Berserk fandom should be commended, because they've been following this series. Well, some people will have been following this series since the very first chapter. And what it's even more profound to think is how many people have been lost since perhaps the first chapter. So many people didn't get to see the end of Berserk, and neither did the creator himself. It's almost fitting, as if it was dictated by causality. It was almost too good to be true. If this is the end, then I can gladly say that Berserk is one of my absolute favourite things about life. And whether I find out about what the rest of the story was through, I don't know, say, leaked notes that will be shared in the future, or a full continuation by the team, it doesn't denounce the fact that this was one of the most crucial experiences in my love for art and stories, and just connecting with another human being through their work. It's utterly profound in so many ways, and I can always reread Berserk over and over and over again and feel the same things I've felt for years and years and years, and feel them deeper and deeper as I grow older, and appreciate Miura's work at a higher level of consciousness. And it will truly stay with me forever. I know it's cliche to quote this, but it really couldn't be a more apt description of the whole experience of Berserk, and that is, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.